that picture said monkey see. This picture is of the students, and it said above it, monkey do. And then this gorilla picture appeared next.
Attorney John Ray describing the slideshow a Long Island teacher showed his class. Ray is representing these 4 young men, all honor students at Longwood High School. The students say they felt uncomfortable when their zoology class teacher, identified as Mr. Heinrichs, insisted they take this photo during a field trip to the Bronx Zoo.
After the fact he took the picture, I asked him, I said, so what are you doing with this picture? He told me, oh, it's going to be perfect for the slideshow. His words.
Right before the holiday break, the students were shocked when it was played in multiple classes by Heinrichs and another teacher, Mr. Dowd. Kevin Beaubrin took video of the slide and posted it on social media, comparing it to slavery. He said school administrators threatened to suspend him if he did not take it down. He refused.
If you're white, do you think that black people are monkeys? Well, the Middle Island School District thinks that.
Us African Americans been through this already, and it's coming back again about us being compared to monkeys. I don't think we should be compared to any animal.
Their shocked parents and attorneys say the manner the teens were asked to pose conjures this image we've all seen in history books, the timeline of human evolution.
Claiming that they're inferior, that they're animals, because they're African Americans, that they're not quite human, like white people, is far worse.
In a statement to Pix 11, the superintendent of schools called the photo an unfortunate lapse of judgment, and that without the intent of doing so, the photo was taken without fully understanding the hurt it may have caused. But for these parents, it's not good enough. Their children have been told not to go to class.
And they said, well, as of right now, they're going to get it incomplete, but we allow them to make up the work. Why should they get an incomplete for something a teacher did?
They filed a $12 million lawsuit and is calling for the state education commissioner to suspend, terminate, and investigate the school administrators.
I like to see justice come to us, like they be terminated.
Like, this is not funny to compare our children to animals.
Shirley Chan for Pix 11 News.
All right, a deadly trend of pedestrian accidents appearing to be continuing right into the new year.
Yeah, 4 people hit in less than 24 hours, and 2 of them children. Will the city take a second look at its Vision Zero initiative?
Plus, some new apps on the market are aiming to make life a little bit easier for families out there. We're going to show what they are and how they may be able to help you.
Yeah, we'll have those stories and much more coming up in the news at 6. Well, a Bed-Stuy grandmother of 3 says a ceiling in her bathroom collapsed on her back in September. Tonight, she's still struggling to get repairs, and that's not all. Because on top of that, she has a terrible infestation. Roaches taking over her home. She called Pix 11 for help, and here's Monica Morales.
Kim Summers reached out to Pix 11 on Facebook, and she lives at the Lafayette Gardens here in Bed-Stuy with her chihuahua named Shadow.
Say hi, Shadow.
Hi, Shadow.
I reached out to you because of the problem with my ceiling in my bathroom.
Summers says she is not just embarrassed to have her 3 grandchildren, ages 2, 3, and 4, come over to visit, but she says it's just not healthy for them to be here.
It's been peeling for a long time, and then that day it just went pow.
Summers says it was September 14th. She was here in her bathroom, and the ceiling fell on her. It's still like that?
Yes, it is.
So wait, did they come or did they?
Oh, they came and took pictures several times. All of a sudden, coincidentally, today they popped up at my door.
Summers showed us the note workers left on her door Wednesday afternoon. Look at that.
That's disgusting.
And it wasn't just her bathroom that has problems. As we were talking to her,
There's a roach, watch.
Summers says she also struggles with an infestation of roaches. They are on her walls, in her closets.
All closets.
What?
See? That's
Complete
ridiculous.
infestation. And in her kitchen cabinets. Summers tries everything to combat them and nothing seems to work. Summers worked for the city for 17 years in the New York City Office of Mental Health and was diagnosed with breast cancer. She's now cancer-free, but now she just wants a healthy home. You got a second chance at life, and now you just need a second chance at your apartment, right?
Exactly.
That's what we'll fight for.
I've seen you help people, so I was like, I could put my faith in you.
We have to make it happen for Kim. Kim is now cancer-free for 6 years, a true survivor and thriver. Kim tells us she got a call from NYCHA. They're coming to her home tomorrow afternoon to fix that ceiling, and they're exterminating tonight. We'll be checking. If you have a story, reach out to us at Monica Morales TV on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We could be in your neighborhood next. And I should tell you, Corey and Tamsin, that we had the borough president, Eric Adams, on our Facebook show. We told him about the story, showed him, what was going on, and it's on his radar as well. But we're going to keep fighting. And again, he says it's a systematic changes, because we know this is happening to possibly hundreds, thousands of other people watching us right now.
Yeah, so many people, Monica, putting their faith in you, and every day you're making NYCHA and making New York a little bit better. So thanks to you, and thanks to all the folks who are trying to make things better.
Thank you.
All right, Monica,
one apartment at a time.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Macy's tonight. They're reportedly closing more than 24 stores. The company shutting down at least 28 locations in the next couple of months, plus one Bloomingdale location as well. Macy's officials have not confirmed which stores exactly are going to be closing, but they did say clearance sales at Macy's will begin this month and run for 8 to 12 weeks. The stores reported its November and December sales, the company anyway. The results today, which shows holiday sales dropped from previous years.
We have a heartwarming story of children helping a child in need.
Yeah, that's right. It's about Gilly May, a 2-year-old born with a rare genetic disorder.
Yeah, so Gilly has Angelman syndrome. It affects her motor development, speech, and triggers seizures. Students from 3 high schools in the upstate town of Hamburg got together to help. They volunteered to work as Gilly's pit crew, helping her go get around.
We jumped at the opportunity.
I'm really happy that I get to help this little girl.
To see her enjoy something so simple but means so much to us.
Well, Gilly loves the new wheels, but the students are taking it a step further in this. They're going to meet with the design pros at Fisher-Price to provide Gilly with a Jeep she can drive on her own, and they're hoping to be able to give it to her in April. Wow. It's so important for her. It's so important for the kids, too.
Everybody wins.
Really, anytime you have a story where kids are helping kids, older and younger, it's a beautiful story.
We've seen a few of those recently, actually.
Always ends well. Okay, so not a bad winter, right, guys? No complaints. A lot of mild days so far this month. 8.5 degrees above norm, right? And a cold shot in, but everything is very fast. So it comes in and leaves. It enters, it exits, and that'll be the story again, okay? 42 degrees normal, 38, the record is 65, that's in 1998. Let's play numbers, 35 and 34 degrees in Newburgh. Let's play with the winds, gusting upwards of 24 miles per hour. Let's play with the wind chill factor at 26, dipping and diving to 24 degrees. Take you to Thursday midnight. You can see again 18 degrees. You can see Thursday early in the morning. It will feel like 15 degrees, but again, short-lived because the flurries will end. A little isolated spot across the north shore of Long Island. My man Crew is on it. You had a squall over the eastern end, but the winds will begin to diminish later on as the high moves in, but quick moving and the high moves out. So less wind, and then the jet, that's that river of air high in the sky, which governs all weather at around 18,000 feet, bringing in the cold, then reverses. All the cold air will be out west. The snow will be in the Pacific Northwest. And you see the southwesterlies come here and come in on Saturday and Sunday when we could play with 60 degrees. Now the cold air is in, but look at Chicago at 50. And look at Lexington at 57. And look at us moderate to 50 degrees on Friday. And check that out. 61 on Saturday. The record is 63, 1975. Look at D.C., 64 degrees. We could have record-breaking temperatures on Saturday. So we can't complain as the cold air moves in because it moves out, and then the warm air could break a record. The pick of the weekend is Saturday. Scattered showers on Sunday will turn a little cooler again next week, but not a bad winter so far.
All right, G, thank you.
Well, a group of New York students are putting their auto skills to the test in a bid to win $3 million.
Yeah, we're going to show you the race against the clock coming up next.
And a happy reunion for a soldier on leave. We'll show you the heartwarming moment. He surprised his daughter when we come back. Well, dozens of high school seniors from New York are going head-to-head to fix car engines in a competition that could help them win $3 million.
Yeah, they put their skills to the test in the race against the clock today. Pick 7 photojournalist Darren McQuaid was there.
This is a really big deal.
Engine oil, there's no leaking oils, right?
30th annual automotive technology competition.
I'm a car guy.
Inspection nuts, both.
We've been working really hard
All these people here are car people.
Okay, good luck, guys.
There's 10 different workstations. Each workstation has a different problem or something that you need to fix.
Well, it's because the hood's up, that's why.
These contests are to see who are the best future mechanics.
To help drive automotive education to keep up with the times.
Does it say check battery voltage too?
Most systems on cars have become electrically based.
Yep, 13.6.
Things were a lot simpler in my days, okay? Carburetors, points, plugs.
There are students who like to fix cars, and there are students who recognize that this is a great career that they can go into.
Automotive mechanics are in huge demand. There's already a shortage.
One day I hope to be a established custom fabricator and certified technician.
You check the ones on the back though. Hopefully get in contact with some nice dealerships like Porsche, Mercedes, BMWs.
Interact with manufacturers. Subaru's here, BMW is here, General Motors is here.
Thank you. So each workstation is 15 minutes long.
Oh, so it's on that side then?
I think it's intense. I can tell the kids get nervous and stressed.
If I win, honestly, I just want to make my parents proud.
The dust covers on the...
There's a lot at stake here for them. You know, there's scholarships, there's tools, and then there's a chance to get to the national championship.
Pride, most of us, and to show off our skills.
There's a $10,000 scholarship for the winner.
It goes a long way when tuition is, it's a little bit expensive.
But that would be nice to go to a nice school after I graduate.
This helps a lot.
You'll hear them say, I just want to win one time. I just want to get to the national championship one time.
Team number 7 from...
I placed second place. Teammates from the same school, they got first, so we did pretty well.
Great. Yeah, with that, let's turn to the Pick 7 News at 6.
Right now, deadly streets, a renewed call for safety after several people are struck in less than a day. Plus, New Yorkers take to the streets amid rising tensions between the U.S. and Iran, while demonstrators are calling for change in Washington. And a message of tolerance from Governor Cuomo.
When someone attacks one of us, they attack each of us and all of us.
The big change he's proposing following an increase in hate crimes across the area. The Pix 11 News at 6 starts right now.
Pix 11 begins with breaking news.
And new at 6 tonight, we are following breaking news out of the Middle East right now. The Iraqi military reports 2 rockets landed inside the heavily fortified Green Zone in Baghdad, home of the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. Thanks for being with us. For the Pix 11 News at 6 tonight, I'm Tamsin Fidel.
And I'm Corey Chambers. So far, Iraqi officials say no injury has been reported in either attack. Now, this comes a day after Iran fired more than a dozen missiles at Iraqi bases housing U.S. troops. And the developments, they are shaking nerves across the region and here at home.
Yeah, let's keep talking about it tonight. Pix 11's Narmeen Chaudhry live in Times Square right now, where a war protest just wrapped up tonight. Narmeen.
Yeah, that's right, Tamsin. You know, this small group of demonstrators here at Times Square really says that they do not believe that the president's address earlier today did enough to ease military aggression, even though many had viewed his speech as de-escalating tensions between Iran and the U.S. Here's what a lot of the demonstrators had to say, saying that the economic sanctions that the president announced today really goes too far, hurting not the Iranian regime and the leaders there, but instead more so the innocent civilians of Iran. Again, the president announcing those sanctions, saying that the U.S. wants peace, that the sanctions, however, will remain until Iran changes its behavior and its aggression. Also, at the same time, the president urging other nations still remaining in the Iran nuclear deal to pull out. The peak of the rising tensions and back and forth between the United States and Iran really hitting its peak when a U.S. drone strike targeted and killed Iran's top military general, General Qasem Soleimani. Last night, Iran striking back in revenge with more than a dozen missile strikes on an Iraqi military base housing American troops. Thankfully, while there were no casualties there on the Iraqi side or the American side, it is today's attempt by the president to calm tensions that many of the demonstrators that we saw out here in Times Square that people say they just do not believe will calm the situation in the Middle East as many have hoped.
Gets mad, he doesn't get his way, so he has to do something big. And look what's happening now. It's not fair, we don't deserve it.
These sanctions that Trump is talking about are going to be intensified are murderous. They're horrific. They're horrendous suffering on the people of Iran.
Now, also new and developing tonight is an announcement from Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, saying that the House will vote on the war powers resolution, and that is essentially going to impact whether there is any future decision by the president to strike militarily against Iran. There is a lot of conversation happening in Washington, many tweets from Democratic leaders there saying that not enough evidence was presented to them showing that there was an imminent danger to the U.S. and that strike against the Iranian general was a necessary one. Again, so many congressional leaders saying that they should have been consulted before that strike ever occurred. We are reporting live from Times Square. Narmeen Chaudhry, Pix 11 News.
All right, Narmeen, thank you so much. Well, the other story we're continuing to follow tonight, investigators working to figure out what brought down a Boeing passenger jet near the Tehran airport this morning. That includes U.S. intelligence analysts who will look for signs of explosions from inside or outside the plane. Iran, who's leading the investigation, says it will not directly involve the U.S. 176 people killed in the Ukraine International Airlines crash, most of which were from Iran or from Canada. And of course, stay with Pix 11 as we do continue to cover tensions between the U.S. and Iran. You can also get updates at pix11.com. Well, a deadly trend continuing into the new year for pedestrians struck by vehicles in the last 24 hours, and 2 of them did not survive, including a 10-year-old little boy.
And sadly, another young child was hit just this morning while on his way to school. Pix 7's Nicole Johnson is live for us outside of the hospital in Borough Park, Brooklyn, where that little boy is now being treated. Nicole.
And Corey, that little boy is now home resting with his family. He had a very close call with a vehicle. He was crossing New York Avenue trying to get to school when he was hit by a car. Andre Wharton is holding on to his children extra tight crossing the street, especially after a 5-year-old boy was hit by a car a few blocks away from here on New York Avenue in Brooklyn. You're holding them pretty tight.
I have to. You can't replace them.
Police say the child was crossing the street here around 7:30 Wednesday morning to get to school when he was hit by a car. The driver stayed on the scene, but what happened here is an ongoing problem in the city.
It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's really horrible.
Over the last 24 hours, 4 people were hit by vehicles. 2 of them died, including a 10-year-old boy hit by a sanitation truck in Lefrak City as he crossed the street with his mother. She's still in critical condition. And a cement truck hit and killed a 68-year-old woman as she tried to cross New Utrecht Avenue.
I think that they should definitely work on having crossing guards next to school locations, and they should actually work on the lights too. There's a lot of areas that there aren't any traffic lights.
The mayor has already rolled out his Vision Zero plan, which is set to eliminate traffic deaths within 4 years. But Wharton believes the burden should not lie on the city alone, but on everyone.
People walking with kids or people walking with the drivers could also pay a little bit more attention.
And that father is right. You saw him there holding the hands of his 2 children. In this particular case, the 5-year-old, well, he was crossing the street alone. Live in Borough Park, Nicole Johnson, Pix 11 News.
All right, Nicole, thank you so much. Well, a woman is recovering after being sucker punched in Manhattan. It happened near the Houston Street subway station in Soho just before 6:30 p.m. or 6:30 a.m. The woman says a homeless man randomly attacked her. She says she was punched in the face and pushed to the ground before that man took off. Police say the woman lost 2 teeth in the attack. She ran into a local Pilates studio looking for some help. They called 911. The woman was then taken to a nearby hospital. Right now, police are still searching for the suspect in this case.
Well, power is returning to Puerto Rico after the island was hit by the worst earthquake in a century. Tuesday's 6.4 magnitude quake killed at least 1 person while collapsing homes and forcing people to sleep in the streets. Schools are closed as engineers check the safety of the buildings. Water and batteries are running low. But FEMA reports President Trump has signed an emergency declaration to provide funding for the island. Puerto Rico hasn't fully recovered from Hurricane Maria that came ashore in 2017.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about what is going on outside. 35 degrees. That's a bit of a drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the story is going to be the wind and the dropping temperatures in the next 12 to 18 hours for sure. All this snow shower activity is beginning to dissipate. That's good. The wind advisory is in effect, gusting to 50, but that's till midnight. Then that will diminish as well. 34 on the way down, Newburgh 32, chill factor 23, and the chill factor tonight takes a toboggan ride down to 15 degrees by morning. Let's talk about the weekend. We'll have it later on.
All right, G, thank you. Well, the estranged husband of a missing Connecticut mother of 5 was in court today for the first time. He faces murder charges. Fotis Doulos charged with kidnapping and felony murder. Almost 8 months ago, Jennifer Doulos vanished after dropping off her kids at school. The medical examiner said she likely died from a combination of traumatic blunt or sharp injuries. Doulos is being held on a $6 million bond. He can't have any contact with his kids.
There does not appear to be a crime scene weapon. There doesn't appear to be any admissions or statements against penal interest. There's no body.
Doulos' girlfriend, Michelle Trinconis, has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder for allegedly helping him cover up the crime. Another person was accused of digging a grave the day that Jennifer Doulos disappeared.
Well, jury selection continued today in the Harvey Weinstein trial. His lawyers now asking